Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. People on YouTube or on Facebook, they don't tell you what listening really does to you as a person who's listening. Listening is a curse. Oh, I love you so much. And then you're listening. I hate you. I can't stand you. I just don't like being here. How do you navigate that? Is it good to be a good listener or not? That's for you to decide after this video. Listening is a curse. It is a curse. It is not as fun as you all think it is. And I'm sure those that have, whether it's a gift or the skill of being such a great listener, are going to attest to this video. And so it's a warning to you guys that want to be good listeners, or you're praying for a man who's going to be a good listener. And here's where it starts from. It starts from the aspiration. And it is, I want to be a great listener. I want to listen. I want to be paying attention to people when they're talking. And I want, if you're a man, I want women to perceive me as a good listener or a great listener at the most. So that is where it starts from. And then you start to learn, right? Start to learn what it takes to be a good listener. And you're going to find tips like, you need to look at the person you're talking to. You need to look at them maybe in the eyes. And also you need to, pay attention to the gestures, the expressions, for you to know exactly what they're talking about, or to listen attentively. And also one of the tips you're going to be getting everywhere on YouTube, everywhere, is that also you need to, put aside all your gadgets, your cell phone. You need to be in the presence of, if you're having a conversation with a person, be there. And then there's this other tip you're going to be getting, is that if you want to be a great listener, you need to not think of what you're going to say next, but just listen genuinely, sincerely to the person that is talking to you, or the person that is talking. And then as you go on, the conversation flows because you're just genuinely listening, not actually shutting up because you're just thinking in your head, what am I going to say next? No. But when you're not thinking like that, then the conversation flows freely. And wow, you find those tips and you start to, start becoming a great listener. And then you are applying whatever it is that you learned, wherever, whether it's on TikTok or it's on YouTube or wherever, you start to apply them. And you're on your way to becoming a great listener. Now, here is where the twist comes in. We've learned all those basics. The first thing is, there's one thing that people on YouTube or on Facebook, they don't tell you what listening really does to you as a person who's listening. And I've been trying to avoid this conversation because I think I'm starting, to become a psych to some extent. So I'm just like reading energies and everything. So I'm going to say it again. I talked about it, I think, in the previous video. Listening is energy. Yeah, I'm a psycho. Hey, what do you call them? Psych, whatever. But listening is really energy, because you now start to listen with more than your ears. Of course, the ears are going to be listening to the words or hearing the words, blah, 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 this happened to me, oh, I'm passing through this, pay attention to me. People are telling you stuff and you're listening with your ears. But then the crucial part is when you do that a lot, you're just like aspiring to be a great listener, you start to listen with more than your ears, man. And how do you listen? There's this philosophy that is called telepathy. And it is where vibrations are sent. Okay, I can send a vibration to another person without talking, and then they get to listen. And an example I can give you to get familiar with it is that kind of a thing that happens to you when, how you're thinking about a person, or you are talking about them in their absentia, and then maybe all of a sudden they just, pop up, they show up, and you're like, we're just talking about you, speak of the devil, that philosophy. Or you're talking about them, you are thinking about them, and then they call you, they give you a call, just to say hi. And it's like, it's weird, because I was actually talking about you this whole week, you've been on my mind. How did you call me and everything? So that is called telepathy. But the crazy part is, it can actually happen when you have the person right in front of you. Now, imagine this scenario. Somebody is talking, of course, with their mouth, their expression. You are looking at them, you're listening, you're paying attention, your gadget is away. And then as they're talking, you're listening to what they're saying. But then there's this voice on your right side that is telling you what they're actually thinking. Like, how crazy is that, guys? And it gets even crazier when what they're saying using their mouth is the opposite of what you're actually listening to in the energy realm or in the spiritual realm. And then you're just like, imagine you're listening and then like somebody saying, oh, I love you so much. And then you're listening, I hate you. I can't stand you. I just don't like being here. How do you navigate that as a listener? What do you do? Do you still, keep the flow and say, oh, I love you too. Thank you. Or you're going to say, no, you don't love me. I can hear you. In your head, you're saying you hate me and everything and you're disgusted by me. And then, of course, they're going to be like, what? No, I'm not. Are you going bananas or something? No, I'm telling you I love you. And then to some degree, they're going to think you're going crazy. Okay? So, is it good to be a good listener or not? That's for you to decide after this video. But that is exactly what happens. It's even worse. I don't know if it's the worst of the worstest when somebody is not even looking at you, but you're with them. And then you just feel the negative energy around them. They might put on a charade of, kindness, goodness, and whatever, of love, like they are happy with you or with whatever is going on. But they reek, man. They reek of that negative energy, of the envy, of the jealousy, it's just crazy. And you can actually feel it in your heart of hearts. You're like, this is so not genuine. Whatever we're doing here is not genuine. It's so crazy because if that starts happening to you, then you need to be graceful enough to not hate them, to listen to whatever they say when I was talking, to listen to whatever they say, and sometimes to play along, and not judge them, and not, just hate them over. That's why it takes grace. So the more you become a good listener, the more you become such a great person. Because then you understand that we human beings have, there's that, I don't know if it's spontaneity of just malevolence all over us, because we're human. The human nature is sinful. And so sometimes we tend to think of evil thoughts, towards people. We just think evil sometimes. And we talk to ourselves and we say bad things about people in our head. And then if you are privileged to have, that psyche of listening, you still have to not hate them and still be graceful enough to be polite and to still love them and to still maintain your sanity, guys, because you just might go insane. I didn't want this video to be long, but this is the curse of being a good listener. And then you graduate from being a good listener to being a great listener. And then the other last thing I want to talk about is that people will actually detect that you're a great listener, although they don't know the concept of what that means. They don't know that you're actually reading their minds, that you can actually tell what their inner thoughts and whatever are. But they're going to be so comfortable around you that people are going to tell you things. They tell you things where they're telling you stuff and you're like, am I supposed to know that about you? It's like, I'm good. And then they'll talk, and then when you have a conversation, they don't want to end the conversation. They just want to be talking because, who doesn't love a good listener? But then you have to carry with you so many stories in your head, so many scenarios. You're just like, who's that person that people go to when they're, when they're depressed? Is it a therapist? Is it? I don't know, a therapist or something, where you're just like talking, and another person is listening and asking questions. You become a therapist by force. If that's a therapist, I'm not sure, I've forgotten. But yeah, you become that by force. It's like, you've graduated. And then you still need, to have room inside you to endure and actually listen and give good advice in good grace and not carry it home with you. Don't let it disturb you. Don't let other people's situations and scenarios disturb you. And sometimes, it can get so irritating when somebody's just talking. Because it's like, man, I also want to be heard. I also want to say something. I also want to be talking and you're listening. But when you're just telling me stuff that I'm not even sure I need to learn and know about you. So, guys, I just wanted to warn you of this thing about listening and everything. It happens to me most of the times, and I was like, I should share this, And I just love it because you just become a whole different person. You get matured, and you just, you get to handle big situations like that. So good for you if you're aspiring to be a great listener. It's a good thing that you are. You're going to be such a great person. You're going to bless a lot of people with that aspect.